Down.
Luigi, back up. That's completely out of touch. And an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
The shocking murder of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson sent ripples through the corporate and public worlds alike. As details emerged about the suspect, Luigi Mangione, the story took an even darker turn. Once a promising Ivy League graduate from a prominent Maryland family, Mangione's arrest revealed an unsettling blend of privilege, ideology, and calculated violence. From his meticulous planning to his manifesto railing against corporate greed, Mangione's transformation from a rising star to a murder suspect paints a chilling portrait of ideological extremism in action. The crime and its immediate aftermath.
I agree with Tyrus. It looked like a professional job. The guy was cool, calm, collected. He'd staked the guy out. He had a silencer. He had an escape plan. He had a disguise. It looks like an assassination.
On the morning of December 4th, 2024, Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, was walking towards a Manhattan hotel where he was scheduled to attend an investor conference. The streets were relatively empty, with only a few early risers and occasional joggers passing by. At approximately 6:46 a.m., the tranquility was violently disrupted by a calculated and deadly ambush. Surveillance footage from nearby buildings captured a masked man lurking near the intersection for hours before the attack. Witnesses later told investigators that the suspect appeared calm and deliberate, occasionally glancing at his phone or pacing in a seemingly rehearsed pattern. When Thompson approached, the assailant moved swiftly, shooting him multiple times in the back before methodically collecting the shell casings and calmly leaving the scene. Forensics experts quickly determined that the weapon used in the attack was a 3D printed ghost gun equipped with a suppressor. This type of weapon, untraceable by traditional methods, ensured that the gunfire was almost inaudible, minimizing the chances of immediate detection. Investigators also saw that the shell casings were etched with cryptic phrases, including delay, deny, depose, language eerily reminiscent of critiques of the health insurance industry. This discovery immediately steered the investigation towards a potential motive rooted in ideological anger against corporate practices. As news of the murder spread, shockwaves rippled through the corporate and political spheres. The assassination of a Fortune 500 CEO on the streets of New York was nearly unprecedented. Within hours, the NYPD and federal authorities launched a massive manhunt, employing drones, undercover operatives, and facial recognition software to track the subject. The thorough planning behind the crime made the suspect elusive. By the time authorities pieced together his movements from surveillance footage, he had already left New York. Investigators discovered he had used a fake ID to check into a hostel before the murder, a detail that highlighted the calculated nature of the attack. But one small mistake, a momentary crossing of a busy street where cameras captured his face, became the key to tracking him to Pennsylvania. This error, paired with the physical evidence left behind, ultimately led to the capture of Luigi Mangione. A life of privilege and promise.
This is one of the last people you'd think would do something like this. He was one of the nicest kids.
It's unimaginable. I was roommates with him, unfathomable, knowing the kind, person that I saw and knew.
Luigi's background paints a stark contrast to the actions that would later define him. Born into a prominent Maryland family, Mangione's life was one of affluence and opportunity. His grandfather, a real estate magnate, had built an empire that included luxury country clubs and healthcare facilities, creating a legacy of success and philanthropy. Growing up in this environment, Mangione was surrounded by the trappings of privilege, elite schools, expansive social networks, and access to resources that many could only imagine. He attended the prestigious Gilman School in Baltimore, where he quickly distinguished himself as an academic prodigy. Teachers and classmates recalled his unassuming demeanor and sharp intellect. He captained the school's robotics team, earned valedictorian honors, and won numerous awards for his academic achievements. By all accounts, he was poised for greatness. The promise carried over into his college years. At the University of Pennsylvania, he pursued dual degrees in computer science and engineering, graduating in 2020. He was active on campus, founding a video game development club and working as a teaching assistant. His LinkedIn profile showcased a polished and ambitious young professional with a passion for technology and innovation. However, beneath this polished surface lay struggles that later came into sharper focus. Chronic back pain stemming from a childhood injury plagued Mangione throughout his life. Friends and acquaintances from his time in Hawaii described how this pain often isolated him, leaving him unable to participate in activities he loved like surfing. While he rarely complained, those close to him noted his condition seemed to weigh heavily on him, affecting both his physical and emotional well-being. Professionally, his trajectory began to falter after his initial success. After a stint as a data engineer at TrueCar, his career became less defined. By 2022, he was living in Hawaii at a co-living space for remote workers. But even there, signs of detachment emerged. He left the community abruptly for surgery to address his back pain, and after a brief return, he disappeared from their lives entirely. In 2024, his life took a more mysterious turn. Social media posts suggested he was traveling extensively in Asia, and friends noted he had become increasingly isolated. Cryptic messages and a lack of communication with those who once knew him painted a picture of a man retreating from the world. The Manifesto and Ideological Obsession. When Mangione was arrested, a 3-page handwritten manifesto was found in his possession. It provided a disturbing insight into his mindset and motivations. Mangione rallied against what he perceived as the parasitic nature of health insurance companies, accusing them of prioritizing profits over the well-being of ordinary Americans. He cited statistics on healthcare costs and life expectancy, painting a grim picture of systemic inequality. In the manifesto, he attempted to justify his actions, claiming they were necessary to confront corporate greed. He apologized for the trauma caused, but insisted that the murder, quote, had to be done. The document also included an eerie nod to Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, whom Mangione referred to as a political revolutionary. This ideological fixation was not limited to the manifesto. Social media posts and book reviews revealed a growing fascination with radical critiques of modern society. Mangione praised works like Kaczynski's Manifesto and delved into literature critiquing the healthcare industry. These writings, combined with his personal grievances about back pain and failed treatments, suggested a man who had internalized a narrative of victimization and sought violent retribution. The capture.
When the shooter, I'm assuming was the shooter who they made the arrest on, came in, he made a comment, "God, that looks like the shooter from New York." But I thought the group of us, I thought it was more of a joke. And we were kidding about it. But then, as it turned out, it was him.
After 5 days on the run, Luigi Mangione was arrested at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. A customer recognized him and alerted an employee, leading police to apprehend him without incident. Mangione's behavior during the arrest was erratic. He shouted about perceived injustices and initially provided a fake ID. Officers found a 3D printed gun, a silencer, and clothing matching the description of the shooter. The arrest revealed several unsettling details. He had been carrying multiple fake IDs, along with a handwritten note asserting he acted alone. The weapon recovered was consistent with the one used in the crime, and its untraceable nature highlighted the growing problem of ghost guns. Law enforcement officials noted Mangione had meticulously planned his escape, even creating a fake identity to check into a hostel near the crime scene. His first court appearance was marked by defiance. He resisted extradition to New York and shouted accusations against the justice system. The legal proceedings are expected to be lengthy and complex. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think about the societal and systemic factors that may have influenced his actions? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.